I think I'm right, it doesn't fucking make any sense. It didn't make any sense. Welcome to the Soul Game, a 15-minute group transformational experience where one participant seeks a solution for any issue in their life.
I move in and out of feeling powerful and then feeling completely helpless.
In this episode, Barbara, a self-proclaimed nomad, is searching for something meaningful in her life while still discovering what it means to take care of herself physically and emotionally. Is it possible that by creating a home within, we can find stability no matter where we live? Let's see what the energies have to say during this Soul Game.
Hi, my name is Barbara. I am 34 years old. I'm an independent artist living in Los Angeles by way of Miami, and I am Haitian American. I really hate talking about myself. It makes me really uncomfortable because I struggle with anxiety and depression, but I'm learning to come out of my shell more and more. I really value things like universal love and just understanding more and more about relationships and human connection. Barbara.
Barbara.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Barbara, if I may ask, what is your healing request? What is the thing you're looking to work through?
Stability. Stability, alignment is my request. I think I move in and out of feeling powerful and then feeling completely helpless. And I know that if I can get myself to focus and have clarity on my path, that I can move forward. But I think I'm feeling stuck in terms of what I want and how I can create stability in my life.
Okay. So, so what I'm hearing is it seems like as you move through life, you have experiences of feeling powerless and powerful. And right now you're in a moment of stuckness, and you're wondering, as you kind of oscillate between these kind of almost opposite poles, you're wondering, like, what does it take to get some stability, some consistency, some direction, some clarity?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay. And I'm wondering, Barbara, can you recall a time where things felt like really clear and really like, can you recall a time where things felt clear and powerful? And
Not really. Not really. I think I've always felt pretty unstable and sort of strange and nomadic. I don't really have a sense of home that I can refer to, like what that represents. That's so I think I've always been trying to figure out how to create it.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you've been nomadic, and that's just, got it. Okay.
The times where I've had structure or stability have been under, like with someone else, other people's sort of rules or guidelines or expectations. The times that I feel in control is when I'm doing my art, if I'm writing or, working on music, anything related to creativity. I think that's where I feel most at home.
Okay. Amanda, I'm wondering if you would tune into stability and the things that bring that sense.
Stability.
And the creativity and the arts that contribute and kind of like, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Because that's what I really resonated with.
Yeah, for sure.
Like stability. I really like the creativity a lot. And that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, just tuning in with that. I guess I would also share that I feel hope. I feel this like a lot of like future energy, possibility. I feel that when I really feel my creativity. I feel it up in here in my heart chakra, and I feel like pulled forward, and there's momentum there and movement, and stability feels kind of like a foreign thing, it's a rooted thing, it's a still thing. It's like a flagpole in the ground, like that stake in the ground or something, and I think I want that, but I really like the feeling of that expansive forward momentum of the creativity. That feels like home, and I have a curiosity, like how can they both be here? That's what I have that question.
Right.
What does that look like for me uniquely, for you?
Right.
So the sense of powerlessness, I'm wondering when I say that word, if anyone here has a gut response. Shannon?
Well, I didn't have a gut response, but I felt like the floor drop out. And I felt it on my left side from my midline, from my solar plexus down. And I just don't understand. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, I relate with the idea of it didn't make any sense. None of it made any sense. And then I had this question of, does it need to make any sense? Like, I bet I'm right that it doesn't make any sense. That's what I want to say. I think I'm right. It doesn't fucking make any sense. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And Barbara, how is having heard this so far, pieces around creativity and pieces around the powerlessness and solar plexus and sense?
Yeah, it sounds very right on with the solar plexus down, because I definitely know that I have a lot of the root chakra issues and the sacral chakra issues with accessing my full being and confidence, and then seeking balance. It's not that I want one and not the other. I definitely want to find a balance between the two, and what is unique to me, that I know balance isn't this 50-50, specific thing. So it's what makes sense for me, what would make me truly happy, without what other people think, I think the powerlessness that feeling is related to worth, to worthiness. I think that's really the root of it. So I understand when you say that it just felt like the floor, like there's nothing. It's like this openness, this void. So I feel like I'm trying to fill the void with something meaningful, and I'm having a hard time doing that.
There were two words that jumped out for me: balance and accessing confidence. So I'm wondering, out of those words, if anything comes up for Ruby or Dipti.
I've been having an experience through this game that I'd just like to speak to before I go there. I've been feeling like very far away, very pulled back. And as Amanda was talking about creativity and being grounded, I just feel even more pulled back. I feel like I'm viewing, like I have this view of like neighborhoods, and it's almost like I'm seeing all around me, like a panorama picture. Like I see all of it, and I'm looking for where I fit into that picture, where my house is, and I don't see myself in there. I can see it all, but I don't see how I relate. And then as Barbara was talking about balance, and a car drove by and made a really low noise, and it seemed to be the only thing to bring me to my center, and I started feeling like I could find like a rhythm, I could find a balance, I could find a place to be, a home. Somehow I could fit in the picture if I could tune into that low note in my own being, if I could hum that note and hear it coming out of my own mouth, my own being. I don't want to get it from out there. I don't want to find the house. I want to hear it. I want to just follow my own.
She wants to follow her own. There's something that, again, the word accessing keeps jumping out at me. And then there's this accessing confidence and accessing creativity. And I find myself asking this question of, gosh, where does that creativity come from? So Dipti, I'm going to ask you to tune into wherever the creativity comes from. Wherever the confidence, wherever it's that accessing. I want you to tune into the access is really what it is.
Whenever, Barbara, when you mentioned home, a picture of turtle kept coming to my mind, and how the shell is so strong, and that is the home, and that confidence and that creativity, all that comes in when you just draw in and close yourself under that shell, that strong, powerful shell. And that's the feeling I get, like when I want to feel that power and confidence, I just draw all my limbs in my head and go under that shell, and almost like recharging, and that is my home, and that's my shelter, and that's my protection. And I access everything from inside, and I'm able to open up again.
And Barbara, how is this so far?
Good. I definitely get this analogy of the turtle. I mean, we've been in quarantine, we've been isolated, and physically, but also just, I felt like I've been in hermit mode too. Just, I tend to feel more at home within myself, and being alone, being in, I think I feel more comfortable when I'm alone. I tend to experience more anxiety when I'm around a lot of other people. But I think when I'm alone, there's a fight, which I know a lot of people have, the fight of the voices of like the negative thinking, the negative self-talk is what I mean. So I feel like that the overthinking that happens here tends to get in the way of me just having a good time in here, in the home, like having a good time and just being blissful and creating and loving. And like, I have a hard time with that. Even though I prefer to be secluded, it still feels like I'm imprisoned, or I'm imprisoning myself. And I know that is a direct response to the traumas that I experienced growing up. And that was this sort of same scenario of being sort of imprisoned in your own home. And I carried that vibration with me throughout my life. So I'm trying to break out of that, you know?
So Barbara, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. What comes to my mind when I think about this turtle, and this turtle kind of being within, is that there's this, a lot of times, inspiration and creativity, solutions, answers, a lot of times they come from places and spaces that we don't exactly know and expect. Our dreams is one example. And my request is to say out, to kind of communicate to the universe that you trust that within the space of this hermiting, within the space of this unknown, within the space of this, that there is something that's going to arise out of that. And that this kind of this way of being of like, I don't know what I need to do to make it happen. I wonder if there's a part of me that's wondering if it's already happening, kind of in this liminal, withdrawn, unknown, turtle-like space. So, so yeah, I think that we put the petition out to the dreams of creativity as we plant that seed, and yeah, there's a question of, do you feel like you can trust that something is going to arise, that what you're looking for is going to arise out of this, out of that space?
That's a very important word that you threw in there, trust. Yeah. But I like that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Barbara, this brings us to the end of our session. If each person wants to put in one word to bring this to closure, I invite you to do so. My word is trust, or lean.
My word is certainty.
My word is gestation.
Yeah.
My word is strength.
My expression is curiosity in the chaos and noise.
So I invite everyone to call their energies into their bodies. Barbara, call in the creativity from the dream space, call in the birthing of that. And thank you so much for playing the soul game.
How are you feeling since the session?
Well, since the session, I have been feeling elevated. I've had some new reflections and sort of downloads about my old self. And it sort of helped me to have a clearer sense of the things that I'm moving out of and what I'm moving into.
Can you share a little bit more of your backstory? Because we didn't really get a sense of that during the session.
I would say that a little bit of my backstory is that I have never really felt a physical sense of home. And so I've always lived at, either with friends or have rented a room in someone's home, or, when I was with my ex-partner, I lived with her. And this was all after leaving my parents' home when I moved to LA 11 years ago. And so I don't think I knew how to really take care of myself in the physical sense. And I didn't know what home felt like. I didn't know what a healthy home felt like. And so I didn't know how to create it. I didn't create it. So it became sort of part of my lessons to figure out how to create home within myself, no matter what my external circumstances looked like. And, I left LA a few months ago to go on a nomad journey. I had this vision for the lifestyle I wanted to live, which was be a spiritual nomad and travel and write, do all my work online. And I tend to be a really great starter and not so much a good finisher. And so it started out good for a couple of months, but then I found myself back in LA, but I was homeless at this point again because I didn't have a place to stay. So I had been living in my car for the past 3 weeks to a month. And I'd never lived in my car for that long before. So it was a complete shift for me mentally. And it really challenged how I felt about myself. I had to reach this level in order for me to really hone in on creating home within myself, not putting so much value on a place, or someone to give me that safety and security. So it's really challenged me to create it with my vibration, with my thinking, which are the things that my mental state is the thing I struggle with the most, but it's really challenged me to be very conscious and intentional about that.
Mm-hmm. And what did you learn about yourself, if anything, during our time together?
I learned, since we were together, I learned about myself that I'm connected. I'm connected to everything and everyone that's around me. It's that I'm not, even though it may feel lonely, but I'm not having this isolated experience where no one understands and I can't reach out to anyone, or, that I'm connected to something greater than me, because I didn't know any of you. And to be honest, I wasn't very trusting of it at the beginning, So I learned that I am connected and that I can be more trusting, that the universe is working for me.